It's episode 1259, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, he's back, Jesse Carey.
Hello.
From Nashville, our managing editor, downtown, Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
Who's recording from a new location. She looks like she's being held hostage. Blink twice if you're okay, Emily.
I feel like I have small eyes, so I feel like I need to make a bigger movement than just blinking, but I am okay.
Jesse, do you see this? She's like crammed in the corner of a gray room with harsh overhead lighting. Like,
yeah, it appears like the tightest desk like setup ever. Like
the entire room she's in is 4x6, and she's crammed a desk in there.
It's borderline. Like if a fire marshal were to come into your office, he'd be very concerned about your ability to escape in the case of emergency because you are so tightly packed into a corner there.
I'm house sitting for friends, and this is technically their office, and yet they don't have a desk, which I do want to bring up to them. So it is maybe less of an office and more of a second living room. Maybe they're trying to bring back the parlor. I really don't know. But there is a couch in here with me and some interesting art and the poofs that I, again, have MacGyvered into a desk.
See, I'm all about homes that have pointless decorative rooms. I've been watching, it's not like new, but I've started kind of had it on the background. Dana's been watching it called The Residence on Netflix. It's like the Shonda Rhimes, like Whodunit series at the White House, right?
It's great.
It is good. I will say it's a little slow.
It's campy.
It could have been 4 episodes, not 8, you know, like the first 4, I feel like we're not really getting anywhere on this case. You know what I mean? Like we've ruled out a couple of people, but I like how they shoot it like a low key Wes Anderson movie.
You'll like the payoff at the end is good.
Okay.
Like it resolves good, but I agree with you that they felt like they stretched it out into 8. What could have been done in 4 or 6. Yeah.
But my big takeaway is it's like all the rooms in the like section of the White House that this takes place in. It's to your point, Emily. There's like parlors. There's the blue room. There's you know like
the yellow room.
Like if I was just had my dream home, you know, there would be rooms that'd be like the telescope room, the solarium. You know what I mean? Like I would have rooms that I don't really use, but it's pretty cool to have, like a room that you just dedicated to a big telescope or something like that. You know?
Yeah, it's a talking point room. Yeah.
Yeah, and occasionally, maybe, you know, on a stormy night, I wander in with like a little, you know, scotch or something and just ponder, you know, the
stars.
World. Yeah, or whatever. You know, but that's what you want the parlor as well. It's like one of those like brown leather sofas that aren't really meant for laying. They're meant for you know opening an old novel about the whaling industry or something. You know,
yes,
like an old naval thriller.
Bring back the Victorian era architecture is what you're saying.
There is a whale book right next to me, so maybe this is the whaling room.
Cameron, here's a room idea for you. I think it's good to talk.
Room idea. Thank you. Yes. Welcome everybody to what is it? A neighbor swap or room swap? What was that TLC show?
Yeah. Yeah. Which
where you have ideas for my house. Thank you.
But I'm saying I'm for like rooms that you don't really go in a lot, but it's a great talking point. Like when you have visitors, like, oh, that's the fly room. And it's like where you make fly fishing like lures and it just fly fishing stuff everywhere, like little knives and those little scissors and strings and stuff. It's like, oh, do you make flies? No, never made one. I just felt like I needed a fly. It's just great to have a fly room.
At my last house, I had a Lego room. We literally called it the Lego room. It was only for Legos. We had a TV in there to watch the Lego movie while we built Legos, and all the Legos were displayed. It was the Lego room.
I'll be honest, not quite the cachet as a telescope room, a whaling novel room, or a room dedicated to nautical novels.
Only nautical. I like it. Emily, you could have a One Direction room where it's like a shrine to all your boy bands.
Oh, so you mean my high school bedroom?
All right. Hey, moving the show along. Jesse, you've been gone a couple weeks. I think this is the first time in 20 years you've been gone 2 weeks in a row.
I know. It
threw us off.
It threw me off, you know?
What were you doing?
I was striking up random conversations about worldly observations with strangers because I had no outlet.
In the airport? It just had to come out.
I actually, you know, I did find myself extra chatty. I was had a long conversation about the Chick-fil-A drive-thru with the attendant there. because I know it's a chop.
You're holding up the line?
There was a delay on the fries, so it was fine. It was fine. I mean, they were done by the time our conversation had been, was still going, and so I wasn't going to just abruptly end. But I found myself honestly just wanting to talk, kind of culture.
But I did tell the listeners that you were away on TV production stuff. Like I didn't give anything away.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to talk about
it. I'm getting closer to being able to talk about it, and I have 2 more trips upcoming.
How many is that total for this project?
A lot. I don't know total.
Probably 10, right?
Yeah. And then so I have to go to Tennessee and then Texas for 2 more, and then we wrap production of the show, and I can move on. And it's been fun, but it'll be fun to kind of shift gears.
How is it? Like, how different has it been than kind of what you've been doing in media for the last several years prior to it?
It's dramatically different because like what we do, part of the fun, I feel like, is there's like an improvisational nature to what we do. And it's fun coming into like a creative, like even if we're working on like a magazine article or we're doing like a podcast, you come up with like a framework of like, okay, but then the magic happens when you start working together on it, and it kind of materializes as you're doing it. The TV stuff's totally different. Like your storyboard, everything has to be figured out beforehand, and then when you're actually shooting it, you have to execute with a pretty high degree of precision what you planned. And so that creatively, it's been way different, but it's been fun. It's been a good experience.
It's a difference between writing a book and putting out a web article, I would think. Like it's both words, it's both communicating content, but the process is completely different. Yeah,
totally different. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it, and I'm excited for people to see it. And I'm excited to be able to talk about it in not sort of abstraction.
I'm just going to give it away. Shiny Happy People season 3. It's a Jesse Carey story.
It's shocking, terrifying, and a lot of laughs, a lot of tears.
Well, I'm excited to see season 3 of Shiny Happy People, the real Jesse Carey story.
No, it's not his story because he's the one making it. It's a story that he knows well. So do the math from there.
We could do like a meta narrative on it.
Hey, Jesse did grow up with Sean Foyt, so
dude, I'm just saying, if the producers of the Shiny Happy People wanted blue sky ideas for future seasons, I could fill a book for them. And like, if you want to hear something really messed up, that would not be a problem. But you guys, I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm kind of curious about it.
Okay, we could just do it. We'll do it out of order. That's fine. Yeah. So, listeners, the plan was at the end of Relevant Buzz, we're going to start kind of doing a weekly add-on at the end of Relevant Buzz, Relevant Recommends. We're going to bring it back, whether it's a new song or a new, TV show or a movie, something like, that caught our attention this week, worth recommending to you guys. Anyway, we were going to recommend Shiny Happy People season 2, which debuted on Amazon Prime this week. I've watched it in its entirety. Emily has not yet. Jesse, have you?
I've watched the trailer.
No. Remind me what this one centers on.
Teen Mania.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Run Loose. We mentioned it on Relevant Buzz a while ago when it came out. It's out now. I cannot recommend it highly enough. It is stunning. It's stunningly well done. So I was worried that a lot of these Christian documentaries, including the Hillsong ones and whatever, are just outsiders mad at the church, or people have deconstructed evangelicals who are mad at the church. And it's like all these corrupt people doing corrupt things, abusive things. And sometimes those stories need to be called out, and that is true. But in general, they're not balanced. What's interesting about Shiny Happy People, now that we know season 1 was the Duggar family, and now how they approached the Teen Mania story, is there's parallels between the two. Seemingly they're unrelated, but there's definitely parallels. And what's different about their approach is it feels like they're just telling the story without really an agenda. They just go where the story goes, as opposed to some other ones where it's like, we know that this corrupt, abusive person was at it all the time. We're going to expose it. It's not that. They explain kind of like where Christian culture was in the 90s, which kind of birthed Teen Mania and Acquire the Fire, arena events, youth groups, and all that kind of stuff, their missions movement, and how it evolved in the 2000s. And really like how outside forces, i.e., Christian political power structure and stuff, kind of sunk their hooks into them. Interestingly, the Duggar story was well-intentioned parents who got involved in a movement with a leader that kind of hooked his claws into them, and it changed the Duggars and it changed the family story. And it's like to see these external forces kind of change the Teen Mania story was really interesting. All the footage was public footage, marketing photo, videos and event videos, and the stories are being told by people who were alum and former interns and staffers, and they weren't all just angry. They were more sad about what it was and what it became versus I'm going to expose it and all this kind of stuff. It was very, very interesting. All three parts, are very distinctly different. And the third part is the most jarring, kind of like the state of Christian ministry as it relates to politics and Christian nationalism and that movement, because that really is the thing that changed Teen Mania. As it got very political, and it changed the mission and heart behind it. So it started like this youth revival movement, missions, seemingly good-hearted, but then as it became a formative organization, powerful people wanted to manipulate it, and it changed, right? And so it was jarring. It's eye-opening. We lived it. I didn't ever go to Teen Mania, but like obviously the same years when I was in college and starting Relevant paralleled this. So it was just it rang true to me from what I knew. Obviously Ron Luce and Teen Mania was very involved at my college. So like Ron Luce went to my college. So, I saw it from up close without being in it. And it rang true. And I would highly recommend it to anybody who watches it or can watch it.
I wonder how much of it seemed like a microcosm too. Like how much of it was Teen Mania was basically you could have replaced with, I don't know if I should name ministries, but ones that big stuff that maybe started with some intention, but then got fused with a political power structure. Like right. I could name. Yeah. I'm not going to, but I could name a handful of ministries.
Pat Robertson shows up in it. A couple others show up in it because really what they masterfully done, including the Duggar story, is they tell the micro story to illuminate a macro thing that's happening. And it's like, and they toggle back and forth and they tell both well. And it's like, you truly understand the Teen Mania story because of the bigger picture stuff, headwinds that were shifting, and you understand the headwinds because here's how it played out in Teen Mania, and it's really, really well done. I'm telling you, like, and even the people, you're going to fall in love with this brother and sister. There's a Christian singer from the 90s, Ray Boltz. His kids, his son and daughter are in it, now adults, obviously, and they are just the most wonderful people. And a couple of friends of ours are in it. A couple of authors from that era are in it, and it's like they selected the right people. It's like, again, it was just incredibly well done. Highly recommend. It's called Shiny Happy People, season 2. If you're interested in anything, if you're interested in kind of like the Christian youth movement of the 90s and 2000s, you should watch it. So
along those lines, I heard probably just bear with, because you're going to hear this and I want people to be like, what? Like one of the most thoughtful conversations I've heard about Christian nationalism recently it was actually, I saw people talking about this, so I listened to it. Joe Rogan had a guy on named James Tellerico. Have you guys heard about this?
Mm-hmm.
No.
He is a state representative in Texas. And so it's not like a federal senator. Yeah. This is a state rep, so pretty low politically. He's in his mid-30s. He's a seminarian as well. He's a Democrat, and he got invited on because Rogan was sent videos of this guy explaining why he didn't think it was a good idea to have the 10 Commandments on display in classrooms. And so he invited him on, and Rogan is admittedly like, I just wanted to hear a Christian explain. I thought it was really, and this guy spends 2 hours, talking about his view of what he believes is a Christian approach to government, but also is asked directly how to define Christian nationalism. I was really interested in that because I think, I've heard it defined in ways it's like, well, that's not so bad. Like, oh, we should have a big Christian nation. But the way he defined it, it was very simple. And he said, I think Christian nationalism is the worship of power, not the worship of God. And the more I've thought about that, the more I've thought that is the core of what can be problematic, is that power becomes the object of what people seek, not service. And I just thought it was really interesting. If people want to listen to it, I wouldn't co-sign everything that's said, but I thought it was a thoughtful conversation.
Yeah. What I like about Shiny Happy People, and including several of the people that are in this movement that they alluded to or referenced, it's like the filmmakers had the empathy to understand that hurt people, and so they humanize the leader in both stories, the Duggars too, I felt, and this one. They also they don't villainize the people like Jerry Falwell or James Dobson, who are kind of in that movement that kind of affected Teen Mania, because they fairly show the early days of these are just concerned ministries that America is slipping away from its values in the 80s and 90s with MTV and promiscuity and just drug culture and all this stuff that was happening. And so rightfully so, these ministers are concerned about the next generation getting swept up and having immorality and different things. And so they're trying to course correct and say, let's get back to God, let's get back to, and that's how it started. And so it's not Teen Mania, but the moral majority in that movement. And then it became power structure and keeping power. And it shifted, and they do a good job kind of showing that story is in parallel with the Teen Mania evolution. So it's a fascinating, and I feel very accurate look at how things changed in Christians engaging in culture from the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. Is Christian engagement in culture. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that it isn't a hit piece documentary, because we've seen plenty of those where it's made just to paint the church in a 100% bad light, just show all the negative things that happen. And from what you've said and from the things I've seen people react to, it does show there are great people and good intentions. It's just things got corrupt. Things need to be addressed and course corrected. There's still redemption there. So
and I feel even the ex Teen Mania people who were interviewed, they all collectively had a heart of, I loved what it was, and I'm sad about what it became.
Yeah.
And one guy I'm angry about what it became, because you took away the thing that really affected me and changed my life. So it's almost there's a righteous anger. It's not a bitterness. It's not just angry people who hate the church or hate God. Many of them are still Christians and in the church that were interviewed. They just are sad about what happened with Teen Mania. Right. So there's this I don't know. It just felt different than so many of the things we've seen about corrupt, terrible, abusive leader abusing people, and it got exposed. Let's tear them down. It wasn't that. It was another approach. And I really respect the filmmakers. And if you guys have time this weekend, it's 3 parts. You can knock it out in an evening or over the course of a couple of days. It's worth it. It's worth your time. So
I'd say that Relevant recommends it even.
I don't have a jingle for an extemporaneous conversation. So next week there will be a jingle before we recommend something.
We're really in the golden era of how many episodes did you say it was?
1,259.
No. How long is the series? Okay. Yeah. So, it's quite the commitment. Okay.
1,259 hours of Teen Mania storytelling.
Really, you could probably skip to episode 400 or 500.
It's kind of like The Residents. They could have taken 1,250 episodes and done it in about 3, but
But we're in the golden era of I've heard it described. I was on a call talking about, it's a TV project. And they're like, the big thing right now in streaming, and they're called blockumentaries, blockbuster documentaries, is like, you can tell these kind of stories over the course of either a single or a couple episodes. And they're really one of the only things that's like penetrating the monoculture, where they have like Tiger King was like an early example of this. Well, everyone saw Tiger King, or, the first Shiny Happy People, I feel like was one of those. Everyone saw that. Or like Poop Cruise is like, yeah, man, everyone.
Well, that was one episode. I mean, but that's a series. But the Where's Amanda, whatever, the lady who got lost on a cruise, that was like 3 episodes. And that's like number 2 on Amazon, on Netflix right now. And
it's weird that when it comes to cultural penetration, like scripted series has become very divergent. Like what my taste is and what your guys' taste is, we all have similar tastes and still watch different stuff, but these type of stories presented in that way, a lot of times it's fair-minded, pretty straight down the middle, are becoming what collectively a lot of people view,
Yeah, I think Serial had something to do with that.
Yeah,
bringing true crime to the masses, and then because there was always like investigation, Discovery, cable channel, and all these but it was like fringe cable networks doing 30-minute true crime stories, and it was just like it wasn't mainstream. I feel like Serial brought that mainstream, and then this episodic kind of documentary approach kind of feels like a visual podcast, right? Yeah. I mean, like the way they tell the stories. And so to me, that's the through line is like, I think Serial sparked this era of documentary filmmaking.
Well, it's just so much more in depth too. Cause even like you said, like I remember watching like Dateline, I'm pretty sure, with like my family and so, and it's like, that's a 45-minute show to go through a story. And, you get the gist of the story, but these docuseries, like you just get so much more details and so much more interviews with people. Like you feel like you really know the story.
Yeah, and it is like how we were conditioned through podcasts like Serial, and even prior to that, like non-serialized, the ones like This American Life, where the characters in the story are important. I finally got around to watching that monkey one, by the way. The one on HBO, the monkey.
Oh yeah, the monkey lady is great.
Yeah.
Her friend got her face ripped off.
Yeah. Oh, I was aware of that story coming in.
Should have known.
I wasn't. I was shocked by that development.
Should have known that's the one monkey story that Jesse knew.
I figured somebody would die at some point. I didn't know her friend would get her face ripped off.
No. The one monkey story I know, anything that has to do with domesticated monkeys, I'm on that beat. Okay. It's like, it'd be hard to surprise me.
Reddit, so what is it, r/domesticated monkeys? Is that are you the moderator?
Yeah, it's about 7 million members. It's a very high level of interest. No, but I did enjoy that one. I know we have a lot to talk about, but it is the other thing too. You're talking about kind of the influence of that format, kind of starting really and perfecting in the world of podcasts. The other thing too, I thought recently, I was thinking about recently with the Colbert cancellation, right? The Late Show, it's as an enterprise is going away. It's not just Colbert; they're not replacing him. It's just the institution is going away. And I know there's, the lawsuit stuff with Paramount, but the writing, if it wasn't now, it probably wouldn't be too far off, because it's just losing tremendous amounts of money, and as a lot of those late night franchises are. And like, how many networks can just see like the solution just dangling out in front of them, which is people still like, celebrities being interviewed, right? But they don't like the pre-packaged, oh, here's 3 minutes. I heard your luggage got snagged in the airport. This kind of these dumb little scripted stories, and then a stunt where, it's sort of like the old late night was just like, hey man, we're just kind of hanging out here for a while. But either way, I feel like even the conversation format of podcasting is, I think it's like, late night's going away, partly because it's expensive, partly because the format isn't aging well, and people want substantive conversations, not just gimmicky ones. You know?
Well, I mean, if you want hot take comedy about the daily news, social media is better for that. If you want a conversation with an actor or celebrity you are interested in, 3 minutes is dissatisfying. You'd rather do a podcast interview with that person. I mean, like everything about late night television is the bad version of what's happening all organically right now. You know, so yeah, it makes total sense. All right. Well, we do have a lot to get to today. So coming up later, Circuit Riders joins us, not actual ones from the Revolutionary War. This is a worship movement out of Southern California. It would be weird if we had actual Circuit Riders.
Maybe next week. I'll see if I can book anyone.
Can you get Paul Revere to join us?
Maybe I could get a Paul Revere impersonator.
Immediately, it's like, wait, Circuit Riders is a band? When you told me to get Circuit Riders, I did. I didn't realize it was an artist. So,
dude, like I saw, like we were working on today's stories, earlier in the week, and I saw the headline for a band interview that ran today, and it was how the national parks find faith in the wild, and I was like, this grammatically makes no sense. How do national parks find faith? And then I read the article and it was about the band, the national parks. And
band,
I was like, dang it, I got. Oh, well. Anyway. All right. We have Circuit Riders coming up at the end of the show. We have One Has to Go. And stay tuned right now. Up next is Relevant Buzz. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, it's time for Relevant Buzz. Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is a Brandon Lake clip that's gone viral from one of his concerts here in Nashville, actually, earlier this week. We've talked a lot about him over the last few months. He's had that really big song, Hard Fought Hallelujah, with Jelly Roll. And before he sang the song at his show this week, he took a second to respond to some of the backlash that he's been getting from the song. If you haven't seen the backlash...
Yeah, what backlash are you talking about?
I was going to say, you might not be on that side of the internet. Basically, it boils down to people feel like Brandon shouldn't have worked with a secular artist and should have just kind of stuck with his own like Christian worship bubble, which is kind of surprising that we're still having that argument in 2025. But I guess that criticism has gotten back to him, and so he wanted to address it. And I really appreciate what he had to say. So we are going to play the clip here.
Worship God. And it's been crazy. Yes, stagecoach. But it's been amazing the conversations that I've been able to have with people that I realize have been searching and have been looking, and we're looking for the real thing. And there's something crazy that happens when you carry the presence of God and you carry the light of Christ. You don't have to be afraid of that darkness because it can't influence you if you truly have the Spirit of God living inside of you. And so I want to speak to some young folks. Don't you dare be afraid of the darkness. We need some people who are on fire for God to run into the darkness, carrying the light, because those are the people that need it. And if you don't go, and if I don't go, who's going to go?
I appreciate that he had this take. I mean, I feel like we at Relevant have had this take too, where, you know, like he said, if we don't go, then who's going to go? So I'm just glad that he kind of silenced his haters while he was at his sold out concert in Nashville.
I don't know if he silenced his haters. He addressed his haters.
In my mind, he silenced them.
Well, you didn't hear the end of the clip because it got. He silenced them. I mean,
he had them all come up to the front. He lined them all up. Yeah,
and by name shamed them. There was another Jumbotron thing. It was just shaming at a concert.
Shiny Happy People season 3.
Okay,
it's about a 27-minute clip going around.
I'm sure you've seen it.
Doug Peterson at Pastor Doug Rock Church. Please come to the front.
He doxed them. He gave their personal addresses.
It's kind of like, I know we were just talking about late night or late shows. I can't remember who was doing it, but I think it was maybe Jimmy Kimmel did like the mean tweets where.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. I want Brandon to do that for people who are trying to poo-poo his collaboration with Jelly Roll. I feel like he should do that.
Poo-poo.
Poo-poo. I was trying to think of a word to say that would not get us rated. Anyways, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about is Ninja. Not like the actual ninjas. I'm talking about Tyler Blevins, the Twitch streamer.
We got circuit riders and ninjas on the same show.
Yeah,
wow.
I know.
And there's been a major booking mistake.
What's tough about ninjas is it's tough to find them, to book them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had to work overtime to find them.
They're very quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. But we found them. No, we were talking about.
They're just hanging out at the dojo, turned out.
I'm talking about the Twitch streamer who has the biggest following on that platform. We mentioned him a few months ago that he has been on a bit of a faith journey, and he's sharing with his 19 million followers that Jesus is king. And ever since that moment, we've just noticed he started speaking up more and more about that journey, sharing that he and his wife are going to church. And this week he actually shared a devotional that he'd read that had really convicted him. And I'm pretty impressed with his vulnerability. So wanted to see what he had to say.
Devotional. No More Excuses, 90-day devotional for men from Tony Evans. And this is the one that kind of messed me up the most. It says, no one can serve two masters, since either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. And then it says, there's nothing wrong with owning things, but a Christ follower must love Jesus more than any personal possession. Dude, that's so hard. And that the first thing that came to me was video games, right? But I've really shaped my priorities and rearranged them greatly, I feel like, the last couple of months. So I feel, I'm working on it. The first thing I do when I wake up is I stretch and I read the Bible. And the first thing I do in the morning is pray. And that's really hard. The first thing in the morning I would do for the last 20 years of my life would be check my phone. And the first thing I do in the morning is pray, right? And that has been one of the ways I've been trying to change my mentality.
There you go. What's crazy about Ninja, if you're not in the Twitch world, okay, yes, y'all Twitch people, I understand that his heyday was Fortnite 5 years ago, but he's still one of the biggest streamers in the world. I mean, he has the most followers, subscribers on Twitch than any streamer on the platform. So the fact that somebody with that level of influence is talking, at first it was I'm into God, and then it's progressively been growing, and he's walking it out publicly. I love seeing it.
It reminds me of Kat Von D, who we talked about last week, who she has said that she does not want to be a poster child or a spokesperson for her faith, but she does want to be honest about her journey and where she is with her followers. And that's how I feel like Ninja is moving, is he's not trying to be super religious or talk about this was a 1 minute clip from an 8-hour live stream, mind you.
Right.
So
and he'll on the stream talk about he's a Christian, or I love God, and he'll cuss later in the stream, and it's and then he'll say I'm still working on it, I'm not a perfect Christian, I don't want to cuss, but man, dadgummit, he's wrestling with it publicly, and that's authentic and good for him.
Yeah, exactly. He's real.
Yeah. So we love the authenticity. Last thing I want to mention,
everybody sign up for Twitch, use our promo code RELEVANT, you get 10% off your first month. Joking.
What a deal.
Okay, last thing I want to mention before we wrap up.
Thought it was free. Go ahead.
I think you pay to subscribe to certain creators. Okay. I've never done it. I have no clue.
I have nothing to add to this conversation. Twitch is not for me. Truly,
I don't know. Maybe you don't have to pay. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe it totally is free. Who knows? How do they make money if it's free though? Ads?
I think you're right with the subscription thing. That has to be it.
I mean, YouTube creators don't need to sell subscriptions. Yeah. They just need you to subscribe so they get ad revenue. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Last thing.
So Fox is currently developing a new miniseries called The Faithful, which is what they're calling a faithful dramatization of Genesis through the lives of 5 women.
What's the word? A faithful what of Genesis?
Dramatization.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's what I said earlier, but I'm glad that you called me out for it. Dramatization. Words are hard. Okay. Moving on.
A lot of syllables.
But it's told through the lives of 5 women, and that would be Rebecca, Hagar, Leah, Rachel, and Sarah.
Why not Eve?
I think if you have to recreate Eve, that means you have to do the whole creation of the world thing. I don't know if Fox has it in the budget.
Got it.
You know, I think this is purely a budgetary thing because it looks like they're spending their budget on the cast. This week, it was announced that Minnie Driver would be playing Sarah.
The famously 90-year-old Jewish lady, Minnie Driver. Yep. Everybody. Yep.
I will say, when we posted about this, I did think people were going to comment on the fact that she is a white woman. They did point out that she is a fantastic looking 55-year-old woman playing a 90-year-old giving birth. So, you know,
maybe, I mean, we're talking,
makeup, you know,
back in the day, they had a lot of olive oil. We don't know. Maybe their skin was dewy.
You guys have seen
the Mediterranean.
You've seen what they can do with aging stuff, you know? Yeah. Remember the end of Endgame?
I mean, the Dead Sea, they had sea salt baths and mud baths. I mean, they looked great back then.
Jesse, you think they're going to age her up with makeup. Cameron, you think they're going to keep her this age and say that they had a great skincare regimen.
I'm saying that in that era of the Bible, people were living to 600 years old. You know, like true. They looked fantastic for their age.
I'll say this. I'm not a confrontational person. So sometimes those mall kiosk guys that have like the Dead Sea salt and they come and put it on your hand and start rubbing it. I just let it go one time and just kind of like, all right, do your thing. Give me a hand massage right here in the mall. Let's make it weird. My hands felt soft all day.
I'm telling you, the Dead Sea, I've floated in the Dead Sea a number of times. You've never felt more rejuvenated and cleansed until you get out of that salty mud. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, 55 is the new 90. That you heard it here first, folks.
Minnie Driver. She also converted to Judaism for the role. They are casting a lot of white people on this Fox series. Yeah. That's one thing I've noticed. But
you know,
can't win them all. At least we're getting the Bible on Fox in the spring. So that's cool.
I'm excited about that. The casting choice is interesting given the popularity of shows like The Chosen and House of David, which are trying their best to be as accurate as possible.
Yeah, ethnically accurate. Yeah.
So, anyways.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Relevant Buzz. There's a lot of stories like that. A lot was happening this week. Go check out relevantmagazine.com for the latest. Follow us on all the socials. Thanks, Emily. Mm-hmm. All right. Stay tuned. Up next, Circuit Riders joins us. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tamed. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tamed. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose The Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold. Our guests today are Lindy, Cofer, and Eniola, Abioye. They are two core members from Circuit Rider Music, the worship movement from Circuit Riders based in Huntington Beach, California. Lindy and a few others formed the group back in 2012, but after Eniola joined in 2021, things began to change, and the movement really has taken off. We sat down with them to talk about the surprising changes they've experienced over the years, their mission with the ministry, and how Gen Z's hunger for God is constantly pushing them to go further. Here's Emily's conversation with Circuit Riders.
Well, thanks so much for meeting with me. I would love to get to know a little bit more of your stories. How did you both get involved with Circuit Rider Music? Lindy, you can start.
I got involved because I was on staff with YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission. I feel like when people hear YWAM, they have a range of emotions, but I had a great experience at YWAM. I did my DTS in Kona and just had incredible leaders, really encountered the gospel like I never had before. And then fast forward, the Lord began to speak about university campuses. And I think now we can see, okay, that the Lord was getting ready for now. I feel like there's so many incredible things happening on universities. You can't even draw it back to one group or name. It's really beautiful. But that was how it all started, was the Lord began to speak about university campuses, and a bunch of leaders just began to pray at YWAM Kona. And that's how Circuit Riders started, was this simple phrase someone heard was, the Lord's going to raise up Circuit Riders again. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but if I hear that, I'm like, what are Circuit Riders, you know? So Circuit Riders, when we just begin to study, what is it? Why is the Lord speaking this? It's Francis Asbury, it's John Wesley. And the whole just basic principle was people would ride circuits with this desire and passion to preach the gospel, see people discipled, and see communities thriving in life with Jesus. Mm-hmm. And so they would ride horseback and literally have their circuits, very similar to Paul. Like you'd see Paul, he's got his cities, he's got places he's going, but then he's got places he's sending Timothy and different people. So it was kind of this principle of, okay, God wants to create circuits on university campuses that we go to and we help pour into and serve. And that led to the first school. And we were shocked that 300 students showed up to just go, man, I'm resonating with this message. And that school turned into an outreach. And that outreach to Orange County stayed. We never left. So we moved from Kona to Orange County. I had no idea that I was officially moving. Like I thought I would go back, and the Lord just began to move and speak. And it was a lot of pioneering years. I mean, we didn't release our first Circuit Rider music expression, which was Every Nation, the first one, till 2016. And we were here 2012 was kind of when it all started. So we are a training base, a mission base, and we love seeing what the Lord's doing on university campuses. So then the music side came out of everything we were doing, and the Lord just began to pour out songs in the midst of what was happening. So that is the very short Reader's Digest version for you.
It's such a rich history too. I think, I came along through friendship, through relationship.
Yeah.
I was at Upper Room for a really long time. I got there in 2010, and then God began to stir my heart for young Black people. And just like there was so much going on in 2020, and I was just like, Lord, what would you have me do? My heart is broken. And there were so many things, so many options on how to respond. And through friendship, the Lord invited me to this incredible, but also like I didn't know what I was going into. But I was invited to Huntington Beach to gather with 60 young Black leaders from all over the nation, just to see what God would say and how he would, if we just brought our pain and our hearts before him, what would he say? How would he respond? And he spoke. And while we were there, one of the words that God gave to this group of us, led by Brian Brent, who founded Circuit Riders, one of the words the Lord gave to us was music was going to lead the way. And so this message of calling young Black leaders from university campuses, HBCUs, and saying, hey, this isn't the white man's religion. God has us in this story. And so we literally were like, let's write songs that would be anthems for the Black community. And in a time of pain, that we would almost like hand them, messages and say, get on the horse and let's ride and let's preach the gospel all over the world, because it's for all. And so I got swept up into that story. Because honestly, like the Lord was like, Eniola, this is what I made you for, is to write these songs and to lead your generation.
We exalt your name now. Every voice sing out loud. You deserve the praise.
I love that both of your stories are centered around pouring into the next generation, because there's just been a real resurgence of faith in college students right now. Lindy, what are you seeing from Gen Z as you work closely with them?
We could both answer this. And last night, we're running a summer school right now, and it's most of them are university students. And last night I was with them, and I'm looking at this generation going, the all-in, no compromise drive.
That's what I was going to say.
Inside of them is, honestly, it brings me to tears. And last night I was sharing about carrying God's burden. So it's like 156 students that have come in, primarily university students. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at them and I just felt this whisper in my heart of, all the years everyone's been crying out, Lord, send laborers into the harvest field. Of course, we've had laborers in every generation. There's moves of God. There's things we see, but there's something unique about this generation. And we're seeing it. And I looked at this room and I just, like, something in my heart clicked, and I just began to cry, and I just was like, these are the laborers we've been praying for. This is what we've been crying out for, that there would be an authenticity in the church. Lord, that you would flip the tables, like things we cry out for and go, Lord, teach us how to live by the word of God. Teach us how to understand scripture. And now, I feel like when Gen Z was younger, you heard a lot of negative statistics about them, and it has shifted. Something has turned, and it's like, no, they are hungry for the word. They are hungry to understand scripture. I feel like you're even seeing it through social media. So many young influencers rising up with bold faith. I'm like, I don't know that I would have done that at 16, if I'm being honest, And so I'm like, wow, the fire inside of them. And I think if I could narrow it down to a few words, it's an uncompromised drive for the truth of who Jesus is.
Yes.
For that to be made known.
Yeah, I would agree. I think something I'm observing just all over the globe is a love for the word of God, like a desire. There's like a hunger to know what the Bible says, to know what it means, and to be able to re-say it to their friends. I think to Lindy's point, you're seeing so many young people who are like fearlessly and shamelessly bringing their friends into Bible studies. I'm hearing stories of it happening in Iceland, South Korea, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, like all over. And it's Gen Z. Like they're not like trying to impress anybody. They've just been gripped with the truth of the gospel, with the love for the word and a deep hunger to know God. It's radical. It's incredible. I think there's so much. I think also there's such a grace for leadership on this generation, to literally like initiate and to innovate and to start things. And they're not waiting for permission. They're not waiting for someone to say, hey, here's, permission to start this ministry or whatever. Like, people are starting run clubs. They're starting grassroots Bible studies in their high schools. They're starting worship gatherings, and they're not afraid of someone else is doing the same thing. They're like, they're doing that, but I'm doing it here. And so there's just a flame, a zeal that has consumed Gen Z. And I think what it's done in me and what it's done in our communities, we just have this conviction of all we can do is agree with what God's doing and ride that wave and go, we're serving whatever that looks like.
So, Eniola, how would you say Gen Z's shift toward faith has impacted the ministry and the music that y'all are releasing right now?
I am so convicted to write songs to put in their mouth for their wholehearted surrender. I want to be able to pen the words that I'm observing. I'm watching them and when I say them, it's us too. We just have this overwhelming sense of God, what new thing can I say to you that is also old? It's true. It's in the Bible. How do I say in 2025 that my whole life is about Christ and him crucified? How do I say in 2025 that you get my whole heart? And I say it in the style of the ethnicity and the culture that I'm from and the people that I'm talking to. And so for me, that really does look like, penning words and saying things like we make our boast in him crucified, and just adding just that musical element to it. And so I think, there's such a boldness and a fearlessness to our generation. And I'm I want to write that in my songs. I want to put that in language. I want to write that in lyrics. So.
But I would say too, something I'm watching the Lord do with Eniola right now is, obviously everyone's heard Lace Up Your Boots. That's the thing right now. If Eniola's on a stage, it's if we don't do Lace Up Your Boots, and we never feel pressure to, I love Eniola. She still flows with the Spirit. But there's always the one person in the crowd, Lace Up Your Boots! Lace Up Your Boots!
You see a backpack in the air and you're like...
But when I was up on stage, and it's funny, you can go watch the YouTube video of my reaction. No one talks about my reaction, thankfully, in the video. Everyone talks about blue shirt girl on the front row. And because Eniola goes, I'm going to teach you guys something you don't know. And my reaction was, I felt trembling inside, because I'm this is a fresh way to say, hey, get your feet ready to preach the gospel.
Yes.
This is and so something I've watched with Eniola is her gift of poetry being mixed with deep, rich life in the word is bringing language in a fresh way. I mean, no one like the Lord. People don't, Bethel released such a beautiful version of that, but that was, Eniola and a group of people wrote that, and it was just such an anthem, and you're oh my goodness. And so something, for as Eniola's friend and getting to run and circle writer music together, I'm going, it's amazing to see how raw, plain lyrics are actually hitting people's hearts. And to watch what Lace Up Your Boots awaken in people was, and still, sometimes at night, I'll just go look, who's making videos to this, and I'll just cry. It's people I'm ready to intercede. I'm ready to pray. Yeah. This song makes me want to pray. And I'm that is so beautiful that there's a song that would move your heart to want to pray. And what Eniola was even saying about how do we put, certain biblical truths on the lips of this generation. That's something as circuit rider music we're passionate about. How do we sing the word? Yeah. How do we... Some people might visit church. They might visit not even church, a gathering at a university, and they've never opened their scripture. But then we can sing a song where they go, what is that? And because truth does something. Truth sets you free. Truth actually does something. The word of the Lord does divide soul and spirit. Yes. It is a sword. It is what Jesus used to defeat the enemy, where he says, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. And so there's something beautiful, I think, as this next generation of worship leaders and songwriters, we're passionate about going, how do we not just, open the scripture and go, let's write a song to it, but we're positioning our lives to go, I want to know this. I want to understand this. So when we write, it's an overflow of biblical truth. Yeah. And I feel like that's, as we've watched The Hunger in Gen Z, we feel more convicted to go, this is not about just sitting down and writing about our experience with God. And while that's beautiful, and I'm not against creating songs like that, I've written songs like that. There is an invitation, like, are we going to, as worship leaders and people putting songs in the mouth of the church, go, Lord, what do you want to hear?
Yeah.
What do you want to hear your people sing? What do you want to hear your bride sing? What part of scripture hasn't been sung yet that you want to hear sung? But then also, I think, I could go off on this for a while, but it's actually been really, honestly, the word I would say is fun to watch as we've yielded and watch Eniola and other people like surrender their lives to Jesus, and then God's giving them songs that are touching the heart of this generation.
Yeah.
That was Lindy and Eniola from Circuit Rider Music. Make sure to check out their latest album, I've Been Meaning to Say This, which is available now. Up next, stay tuned, it's One Has to Go. Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. All right, it's time for
One Has to Go.
Okay, you know the drill here. It's our summer game. I'm going to tell you 4 things. You tell me one that has to go. And yes, listeners, we are aware that we have been doing a lot of these, and we are planning a shift after summer. So this is our summer game. Okay. So
can you give me 2 minutes at the end after this? Because there's something I need to run by you guys before we wrap the show.
Yes.
Okay. Just build in a little cushion.
I will cut out a full round so you can tell us whatever it is on your mind.
Okay, good. It's important.
All right, Jesse, you're up first. 2000s reality shows, Operation Repo, Extreme Couponing, Billy the Exterminator, or Dog the Bounty Hunter. One has to go.
Not close. It's the extreme couponing.
I knew it.
You can watch one episode and basically get the idea. The other one's a new adventure every week. One day, Billy's taking out a hornet's nest at a minor league baseball park with his bare hands. The next thing, dogs tromping through the swamp after someone who's got a outstanding DUI warrant. It was the Wild West, the golden era, if you will.
Where is Billy the Exterminator now? Does anyone know?
If he has all 10 fingers, I would be shocked.
I haven't really kept up with him. I'm assuming he's still in the extermination cave.
In my opinion, there's a direct through line. There's a direct through line from Billy the Exterminator to the Tiger King guy. You know what I mean? Like that was just it was an era I don't think Tiger King. I think Billy the Exterminator walked so Tiger King could run. You know what I'm saying? It's
There
the
it is.
same.
That's it.
If Netflix brought back Billy the Exterminator, I guarantee it's a hit. I guarantee you. People are like, yeah, I'm going to watch this guy. He's crawling under a house because a mother possum is barricaded herself near the ventilation. He's got to get her out. And she is mad.
He's got Netflix money now, so yeah, he can go real wild.
But the thing is, I think the less wild, the better. I think the more like, oh, this is a situation I might find myself in. Like, if it goes too wild, the charm of the show is like, you know, I don't want to go have to take a bunch of snakes out of my attic, but I'll watch Billy do it. You know what I mean? It was very relatable.
Do you remember back in the day when Shauna Nequist was on the cast? One day we were like, "What's going on in your world this week?" And she's like, "A family of raccoons has moved into our attic," and they were like, it was for weeks. It overtook the family's life, like these raccoons that would not leave. They were calling in all these experts, and I was like, that was the thing of like,
That's my point. That's why it worked, is because like these are things that could happen to you. You know what I mean? Like you got to keep it non-exotic. You know?
Yeah. All right, Emily, I'm going to give you some 2000s reality shows. Room Raiders, Next on MTV, Parental Control on MTV, and My Super Sweet 16. One has to go.
Ooh. This is the era of reality TV where I was far too young to be watching these shows.
Far too young. If you know these shows, then I need to have a conversation with your parents.
We've talked about this. My parents had no idea what I was watching because I was religiously watching Next. I think about them all the time.
This is what corrupted your generation's view of dating, FYI. Is
100%.
Yeah, Next
absolutely.
was just in-person Tinder. It was just swipe to the next person.
Yeah,
The
while they
best
looked
was
at
when
you.
someone would walk off the bus and or not even get a foot on the ground and immediately be next to it. Like, gosh, that is...
Well, that's like the balloon popping YouTube series.
That's another
now,
one. That's another one. Netflix brings it back. Everyone's watching.
Oh,
you know?
if Netflix brings back any of these MTV shows...
Well, this would be Paramount Plus because it was MTV
Paramount
properties.
Plus, fine.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus can bring it back then. I think I'm going to do My Super Sweet 16. They were, like, even as a fourth grader watching the show, I could tell these people were, like, really problematic and just did not need to be on TV.
They walked so Bridezillas could run. Like these girls became the Bridezillas 5 years later.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. They were actually, it's the exact same cast if you think about it. So
yeah, that's 5 years later. All right, Jesse, this is specifically for you. I put together this list.
Okay.
Chris Angel, David Blaine, David Copperfield, and the guy who does tableside magic at your local pizza restaurant every other Friday night. One has to go.
It's Copperfield, no question.
I know, he's terrible.
There's not like it's shocking. He got as big as he is. It's like it's
one of the worst experiences of my life was going to the David Copperfield show in Vegas with you. It was such a disappointment.
The only people I felt worse for than me and Cameron was David Copperfield himself, because he clearly
he's phoning it in. He didn't want to be there.
It was like, you know, what's the myth? What's the parable of the guy at the Greek myth? He has to roll the stone up the hill every day. He's got to, yeah. It was like Sisyphus. It's like you could see, like this is my curse. I have to perform the same routine 3 times a night, every night,
for a half-filled small theater. Like it was, they made us move up closer, like because there were so many empty seats.
But wait, were the magic tricks just not good?
Oh, it was terrible.
The magic tricks weren't good, and he didn't care. He had it memorized, like so that he wasn't even acting like he was trying to deliver a line. He was just saying it as fast as he could to get it over with, and even like. And you could tell, like, there was one where it's like, you know, some dumb mentalism trick where, you know, he goes to the lady in the audience. He's like, all right, now pick any flower that first comes to your mind. And she goes, sunflower. And he holds out a rose. He's like, oh, you pick the rose. Like, he didn't even pay attention to her answer. Like, he just assumed it was really bad.
It was really bad.
Well, shout out to the guy who does tableside magic at your pizza shop.
Jesse and I got there early enough that I did see like pre-production people talking to certain members of the crowd as well, like priming them for.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
Okay, Emily, Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, Even Stevens, and Kim Possible. One has to go.
Ugh, yeah. This is like peak Disney Channel too. Gosh, that's really hard.
It can't be Even Stevens.
Oh, unfortunately, it might be.
It's not. You're wrong.
How do you know?
You're wrong. Even Stevens was fantastic.
It
No,
was
even
good.
Steven-
Shia LaBeouf was great in that.
Even
He's great in
Steven
that.
was fantastic. I'm not. That's
Peanuts. What was that kid's name?
Beans.
Beans. He
Beans was
funny.
great. Like it was great, but like, I mean, Lizzie. That's my girl, Lizzie McGuire. That's a Raven was like. I'm gonna say groundbreaking, and y'all are gonna think I'm joking. I'm actually being so serious. I'm gonna pick Even Stevens, and y'all can just be mad at me.
Fine. All right, last ones. Here we go. Jesse, NFL quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Joe Burrow. One has to go.
Burrow. Sorry. I literally had this conversation with my son Noah last night, ranking quarterbacks. Burrow's 4.
A lot of women are gonna be mad at you for that.
Well, but tell them, look at the playoff records, ladies.
That's what, yeah, the women are really concerned about his playoff records. All right,
Yeah,
last one. Emily, Jonas Brothers, One Direction, NSYNC, or Backstreet Boys. One has to go.
First off, shout out One Direction for the 15-year anniversary this week. I was honestly just never.
Did you celebrate privately or with friends?
Very publicly, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
In the streets.
Yeah, we took to the streets.
Shouting in the streets.
I think I'm gonna get rid of Backstreet Boys, just because I think like NSYNC. Even though I was also young, I was too young for both of them. NSYNC just stuck around more for me. Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, and Justin came out of it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, well, that would do it for One Has to Go. Jesse, the floor is yours.
Okay, real quick. I was driving to work the other day, and I have no plans on doing this, like doing an open mic night. But I came up with a little bit that I wanted to workshop here to see if if it's ready for prime time.
Okay.
So hold on. So the open mic night would be in front of about 20 people. You want to workshop it in front of thousands. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely.
Makes sense.
So, you know a phrase that gets weirder the more you think about it?
What?
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse. What was going on in our country where that just entered the parlance? Where you could say, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Someone's like, I know exactly what you're talking about, that feeling. And that's a perfect analogy. Could you imagine being the first guy to say that? Did Bill just say beat a dead horse? What? He said it so casually.
Okay, hold on. Now you got me thinking. I think to train a horse or get it to do what you wanted, you had to kick it, spurs, whip it, beat it, whatever, to get it to
break. I think you would break a horse,
but I don't think you would. But if a horse is dead, they're just saying it's pointless to beat the dead horse. He's not going to do what you want. So they're saying it's as pointless as beating a dead horse.
It's a weird, specific reference that I feel like
somebody saw it happen one time. Yeah.
Do you want me to give you...
But no, it's not somebody saw it happen. It just became like something people say and know. Oh yeah, that's a common thing. Like,
yeah, it's like it's as pointless as kicking a dead dog. Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like, why would you say that? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
do you want me to give you a Southern phrase that I have only really heard my family or like people around my family use?
Yeah.
So the phrase is, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting and then fill in the blank, whatever. You can't hit a what? But
like a loose woman or something like when you go to this town, like, you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a loose woman kind of thing.
Yeah. And my dad, I've heard that my whole life, didn't think anything of it. And then my dad said it one time in front of one of my friends, and she goes, why would you have a dead cat that you're swinging around?
But at least I visually get it. You know what I mean? The horse beating.
This town is so thick with loose women that you can't even swing a dead cat. Yeah,
I don't know why you're going back to the loose. It could be like Applebee's here. You know what I mean?
There's so many Applebee's.
Yeah.
Atlanta has so many Waffle Houses. You can't even go there. You can't even swing a dead cat without hitting one. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Atlanta has so many loose women. You can't even. Sorry.
Oh.
I said I'm workshopping it, guys. That's why I didn't say it's ready for prime time. I'm just workshopping here. Okay. About 20-minute drive to work.
It's Mitch Hedberg-esque. It's a pithy observation.
I'm circling it, but that's all I got.
The problem is you got about 20 seconds max of material out of that.
Yeah, I'm working on a tight 90 seconds.
You're looking for a TikTok clip, is what I'm hearing.
I do have. The other one is like there was a news story years ago about this guy who he dove. You guys probably remember. I think we probably talked about it on the podcast. He dove into the little pond thing at Bass Pro Shop, and they filmed it as like an online prank.
Yeah. He got arrested. Yeah,
and he got arrested, and the police were like, it was trespassing and all this, and they said, if we find out, he's pending more charges if we find out any of the bass were hurt in there. And to me, that seems really unfair because the entire business model of Bass Pro Shop is predicated on hurting bass. All they sell is elaborate ways to hurt bass. That's it. It just seemed like it wasn't not fair for that guy. So I've got it up to 35 seconds.
You're well on your way.
My hope is that every week we just add on 15 seconds and we just hear it in 15-second increments, what you've added on.
Exactly. About 3 years from now, I'll have that 90.
And listener feedback, if they're following us on Relevant Podcast on Instagram, they can give you feedback, give you notes, how to tighten it. Yep. I like it. Make this crowdsource it. Okay. All right. Well, before we wrap things up, I'm going to thank Lindy and Eniola from Circuit Rider Music. Make sure to check out their latest album, I've Been Meaning to Say This, which is out now. Also, like I mentioned like a minute ago, make sure to follow Relevant Podcasts on Instagram. We're posting the One Has to Goes. We're posting clips from the show. And in the coming weeks, we'll be posting more and more clips from the show, not just the interviews. So keep an eye out for that. Also, make sure to follow Relevant on all the other socials. All right. On that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
All right. We'll see you next Friday. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Make sure to check out our coverage at the intersection of faith, life, and culture every day at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, don't miss our latest digital issue. Issue 116 features Nate Bargatze, Connor Price, and a lot more. And don't forget Relevant Plus. It's the best way to experience our content, including ad-free reading, an ad-free version of this podcast, and more. You can get all the info and sign up at relevantmagazine.com.
This is a situation I might find myself in.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.